Welcome to the Planet 63 Virtual Business Matchmaking Show, the next evolution of discovering Philippine and U.S.-made products and services. This is the show that helps create global sales opportunities and bring Philippine and U.S.-made products and services go from local to global. Thank you for watching the show, and now please welcome the host of Planet 63 from Local to Global, Ferdinand B. Soriano.
You know, there's an old saying, and it's a very old saying, that no man is an island. And I completely agree with that, especially when it comes to business. To me, though, what it means in business for me is that if you're going to pursue a project or or succeed in a major undertaking, you're definitely going to try to have that mentality. You know, you want to have people around you that supports you and empowers you and sort of have a like mind, when it comes to achieving something magnificent. Or, it could be something average today. But again, I'm a firm believer that you're always going to need people's support to thrive, right? So with that being said, before I introduce or get into what our show is going to be about today, I just want to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Ferdinand Soriano, and I am from Planet 63. And just in case you're interested in finding out what is Planet 63, we are an export marketing and logistics management company, and we specialize in promoting Philippine as well as U.S.-made products between the two countries. Now, you are watching Planet 63's From Local to Global, the special edition. And with that, the reason why it's called the special edition is that we have a show where we promote products from both countries. But in this particular edition, what we're trying to do is I like introducing people that have the same mindset and have the same passion and the ability to make things happen in terms of creating opportunities for Philippine manufacturers in the U.S. market. And today, that's what we're doing. I brought in someone who has the same vision, has the same passion, same creativity when it comes to creating opportunities. Now, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is the president of the Santa Maria Group, which is a government relations and business solutions consulting firm. He's a very, very active community leader. But what makes him cool in terms of what our, the significance and relevance of what we're trying to do in the connection is that he has helped create a venue as well as an event. It's called the Manila District, and the event is called Field Market in downtown LA. I want to go ahead and have him explain all of that. And with that being said, I want all of you to meet a really good friend. He's become a really good friend. His name is James Santamaria. Hi, James.
Hey, Ferdinand, how are you?
I am great, man. I can't believe, I know you're a busy guy, and I love the fact that we're finally getting together, and I hold you in the highest regards in terms of trying to do what you're doing, not only for Philippine products or Philippine culture, but also just the community in general. So with that being said, I sort of just touched a little bit about what you do. So please take this moment to go ahead and tell us a little about you as well as the Santa Maria Group.
Well, thank you very much. I started the Santa Maria Group, which is about 18 years ago, after a stint in local government here in the city of Los Angeles. The eye of the company was really a government relations. Everything that government touches, we are kind of in some way involved, whether it's politics, compliance issues with the government, regulatory issues, and everything that government covers. So we have a myriad of clients, if you will, from stretching from the airport all the way to real estate, all the way to different types of alternative energy sources like solar. We rep them all. We are also in education. We're the local lobbying firm for the Los Angeles Community College District, for example. So we get involved in a lot. Our agenda is very large, but we also, in that, help to kind of give back to the community as well, because we're in a position that puts us in that type of, I guess, role. And I've embraced it for as long as as I've been working, and will continue to do so. So thank you for having us.
No, like I said, what I'm trying to do is obviously in sync with what you're doing, but your scope and your ability and your connection just makes you that much more of an effective promoter of Philippine products or the culture and all of that. So it's important that I'm glad that you're finally here with us. Now, as far as why we connected, obviously, like I said, we have the same dream and vision for being able to create the opportunities. With that being said, I wanted you to, because I have other questions that I want, but the first one that burns in my mind, and the reason why the relevance of this meeting is that you created something very unique, like I just mentioned to you. So what I wanted to do is I wanted the audience to watch this thing, and it came from a station, a well-known station. Okay, I won't do a complete plug. So do you mind if I show this video so that they can get an idea of what, then we can sort of talk over it if you like. But let me go ahead and share that video now, okay?
Sure.
Hold on.
Santa Maria. Getting on a plane sounds like a drag nowadays, so we'll take you on a culinary trip right here in LA to the new and happening Manila district. It's Friday, May 21st. If you're anxiously waiting for the 626 night market or other food festivals to make their comeback, you only have to wait till Sunday to get your Pacific Islander fix. Writer Anthony Ocampo tells us more about the Manila district on 7th Street. Anthony?
So I grew up in LA, but I'd actually never heard of the Manila district in downtown LA until one of my friends texted me about it. But there it was, a few miles east of downtown LA, sandwiched between some office buildings in an area with little to no foot traffic. The Manila district was truly born out of the pandemic. Filipino pop-up chefs and vendors who were really making a name for themselves on social media, at smorgasbord, at the various night markets throughout LA. All of a sudden, when lockdown happened, they had nowhere to post up and continue business. And so high school buds Lauren Delgado and Rayson Esquejo, along with James Santa Maria, famous for throwing LA's biggest Filipino food festival ever, Eat, Play, Move, they launched the Manila District. Every Sunday, they partnered with pop-ups like Lobster Damas, Mano Po, Taste of the Pacific, and Kalaho Catering, which offers an array of ube-flavored desserts. And they just made lemons out of lemonade. Soon other vendors arrived. The Fly Plant Shop, which specializes in indoor and outdoor plants, Parasayo, which specializes in gift sets, Manila Candle, whose scents are reminiscent of smells you only smell in the Philippines. Their one requirement is that all vendors had to feature a Filipino-inspired dish or product, which is why they dubbed their weekly Sunday outdoor event as Phil-Led Market, which stands for Filipino.
Now, James, as they speak, obviously, that's what makes this whole thing amazing, because you created something, I think, fantastic, right? So I wanted to show that from another perspective and not just mine, obviously. So yeah. Go ahead and expand. Obviously, it was brief, but it made the point. You created lemonade out of lemons, I guess, So that's the mindset that I like, because you're creative. You repurpose certain things that, again, just to give our audience a perspective that you're very creative that way. So go ahead and tell me a little bit more about Manila District, what it has done for the community, for the businesses, and how you've used that sort of a vehicle to promote Philippine products.
Yeah, so no, we ended up here in the Arts District about 3 years ago. We purchased this building with the intent of really figuring out a way to kind of, give back to the community in some way, shape, or form. What came out of this was really, we started doing Filipino food festivals, and a lot of folks started getting into that. And so we didn't want to just continue with that. We wanted to see where this direction could take us. Unfortunately, COVID happened, and we were kind of on the road to trying to create this outdoor curated market. But unfortunately, the lockdown happened. Businesses were impacted. Obviously, the restaurant industry was really hit hard. We were contacted by one vendor who really wanted a place to kind of fulfill the orders that they wanted out there, because the demand for food and good food was still out there. And they asked us simply if they could just be part of the parking lot and to barbecue out there. That was Lobster Damas, which is one of the largest and probably one of the anchors for the smorgasbord brand out there, which is just a few blocks away from us. So we agreed because, you know, in these times you got to help and you got to figure out ways to be helpful. And so we did that. And with that came, you know, the opportunity to kind of expand it out. And we were then called by other folks who were interested in this. And then it started to grow organically with more and more vendors coming to us. And then, so this is also, we just started to try to create a place, a safe place where entrepreneurs can really specialize and exhibit their talents, but more importantly, emerging businesses who have an idea or concept can also be part of this without having to break your bank and open up a brand new retail establishment or restaurant. So that was the whole intent of this. And I'm very proud of the folks who kind of gave us a chance and trusted us that we would create this venue. And up to this point, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. So we're very happy about that.
Well, obviously, being covered by KCET doesn't hurt in terms of what you're doing. And that's what I mean by collaboration. No Man is an Island. What you're doing is definitely an event that could create a lot of impact for the community, but also, again, going, you know, taking products from the Philippines and anything Philippine made and bringing attention to them. So not only you're feeding them, man, you're educating them, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's also kind of just being able to be out there. The only thing that we really insist is that, because there's so many different food items. LA is such a diverse melting pot of different cultures and events. But I have to say that the Filipino food movement, up until recently, has always been really the ugly stepchild of the LA ethnic food landscape. Lots and lots of Filipinos here, a huge population, but very few restaurants and food that could be both discoverable and enjoyed by the larger public. We're just starting to see that happen, and we wanted to be part of that movement as well and add our own flavor to the growing popularity of Filipino food in general.
Well, with that being said, now that we've sort of established what Manila District is all about and what it's trying to do, I'd like to maybe talk about the collaboration in terms of how we can collaborate and continue to bring attention to Philippine products or Philippine-made products, especially the food, as well as, you know, collaborate on other things and bringing that to the marketplace, right? So other products from the Philippines. Now, but before we do that, we have a common associate that I like promoting in the show. So we're going to take what I consider a product alert break, and then we can get into the collaboration of what we're trying to do, as well as we've got some products that I would like your opinion, my friend, that maybe you can feature in Manila District. But before we do that, why don't we just take a quick product alert break, and you're going to know who this is.
Hi, my name is Ron, and this is Teofilo Coffee Company. Where we drink coffee black.
Shout out to Ron, because he's been supporting us, always looking at the show. You know who Ron is, right?
Yeah, we actually had him over at our market at one point as well. So definitely love his product, love his coffee, and wishing him all the best.
He's a crazy guy in itself, and that's what I'm saying about him. He's very passionate about Philippine coffee, and he's able to manage to be creative and supportive to the community in terms of introducing that product, all the different types of coffee, which definitely needs more attention. All right. So with that being said, I want to touch on a little bit about what you and I are trying to do. We're not too much, you know. Obviously, sometimes it may matter or may not matter to some people, but at the end of the day, all I'm trying to do is I'm making a point that promoting Philippine products in general is a big undertaking. There should be no need for us to feel like we need to compete with one another. I think to create that opportunity for Philippine manufacturers or Philippine-made products, all of us really have to sort of come together and figure out how we can do that as a whole, not where you're trying to figure out how we can do one over on somebody and do all that other stuff, which I hate. And maybe that I'm on a soapbox right now, because that's probably what I feel like most. So with that being said, I I want to kind of touch on Planet 63 in terms of sourcing products there. And the thing that stood out with me and you is that you are amazing at promoting that. So kind of maybe tell our audience how, what you're going to bring to the table, especially if Philippine manufacturers are watching the show. What can you do for Philippine manufacturers in terms of bringing their product into the U.S. market?
Well, yeah. So I've always had kind of an interest or a strong desire to showcase a lot of Filipino products, and especially those in Asia. And I go to the Philippines, or was going to the Philippines quite a bit, and was exposed to a huge array of different products, from coffee to different types of desserts and different types of ingredients that just are excellent. And what I think is important here is how do you try to bring some of those into the U.S. market, or and vice versa, and try to figure out like what's the best way, and maybe not some of the non-traditional ways, rather than just trying to establish a distribution network here and doing the import-export thing, which is really important as well. But like we try to figure out different angles that kind of piggyback on what the existing infrastructure would be like. So, looking at what we have with the Manila district and filled market, filled, by the way, is kind of a name called Filipino led. So filled is why we named it as such. And that's really what we wanted to do. We wanted to try to see, with the burgeoning amount of vendors that we have, especially the chefs that we know and who have contacts with. I know a lot of them want to start using organic, original Philippine-based products. So why not have an outlet here to start utilizing some of that, and maybe substituting some of the things that they're traditionally using, like soy sauce, or using some, instead of lemon juice, maybe we use calamansi juice. And I think a lot of chefs, especially those who are interested in Filipino cuisine and who want to promote it, if we can get not just to the level of the dish itself, but the ingredients that can become more originally based or organic to the Philippines, I think that would be a big, big win for all of us.
I think when it comes to promoting Philippine products, specifically with your with the ingredients that you were just mentioning, there's, that's, it's not unfortunate, but that my observation is there's two kinds of the Filipino American, and each one is going to want certain things. One is the traditional products that they want, that they grew up on. Maybe they're relatively new into the U.S. market, but the ones who grew up here, who are looking for their culture, looking to understand it, some of them, they want that taste, but now they're bringing in a little bit of what you just said, the natural, the organic, things of that nature. So you're looking at two types of consumer, and I like it, because I think Philippine manufacturers just really have to understand that, because this message that we're doing, James, it's really for their purpose, so that they can understand how not only you're going to help market the products here, but they also have to know the kind of products that they're looking for, right?
Yeah, of course. And then there's kind of also a misunderstanding sometimes with Filipino food, and maybe so that has to do with some of our migrant or immigration, I guess, level of coming here to the United States and really only understanding certain level of Filipino food. When I went to the Philippines, or have been going down to, I was exposed to all sorts of different types of cuisine. And it's not just your lumpia or your lechon or your sisig. I mean, the types of the people, sometimes I hear that Filipino food just is unhealthy because it's all fried, and there's not, which is far from the truth. When you see and you go to the Philippines and you start to see the ingredients that they have, the local vegetables that are grown in the Philippines, that are used in certain dishes that are very tasty, very good for you, and are really, at the end of the day, based on a wellness program. That really takes away some of the miscommunication or misunderstandings about Filipino food being less healthy for you.
But the last comment on that I want to make is that you are just the entity, the individual, the group that can make that happen, because you look at everything from a universal approach. I don't mean like you're not Filipino oriented or whatever. I'm just saying is that you look at it as a whole. If a product's good, product is good. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, you're trying to create a certain packaging or presentation of anything that you get your hands on, so to speak, in terms of marketing in that light. Now, that's sort of a segue to what I'm about to ask you. I recently brought you some products that I want to just not necessarily, I don't think you've had any chance to look at it and taste it, all of that. But what I wanted to do is that use the products, just show the products to our audience and let them see or tell me your opinion about the product, the packaging, and your opinion how you think it might do in the market. So go ahead and can you do that for me? I think the first one that you want to talk about is from a product called Saint C. That's the brand.
Yeah.
And they made some products. So go ahead and start with that.
This one is cocomansi, which is interesting. It's the coconut with I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, this is great because my understanding with this is that this could be in many ways a new flavor profile, but it's like an oldie but a goodie, right? But now you have something that's all in one bottle here that gives it a different bent on maybe traditional soy sauce. Is that correct?
Yeah, that the soy sauce, what I wanted you to learn from that is that the reaction I'm getting from people is that it's really an alternative to soy sauce because it has that same flavor. I'm going to let you figure that or find that out yourself. But if you love soy sauce in your dishes, that's an amazing alternate, or maybe even overtake it because the biggest selling point is there's no sodium. If you look at the ingredients, my friend, it's just natural.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and that's it's actually 0 milligrams of sodium in that. So for all the Filipinos out there who are citing cholesterol and everything else, here's an organic product that does what you want, but gives you the flavor. Now, the interesting thing about this is also that there's also the opportunities to switch this out from your normal kikoman, right? Mm-hmm. And Filipinos love sausawan. Right? That's kind of the whole thing. It's like you have to have this with something like your lechon or your chicken or your beef steak or something to that extent. So this is something that I think, could do very well here. And if we start getting some of the folks to start utilizing this product with their dishes, I think you could see some movement in terms of not only the product, but also the expansion of the flavor profile that is distinctly Filipino.
I'm impressed. I don't think you're a chef, but you sort of know exactly where that food should go, or because that condiment.
It goes right into my stomach most of the time.
So why don't we look at some of the other products, whatever order you want. I can just make a comment because at the end of the day,
I love calamansi, and the calamansi here, for those of us who have calamansi plants and Lola or Nanay or Lolo who grow it here in the United States, it's not the same. Right? We can all agree. And I just, when I go to the Philippines, I always ask for calamansi. And I think whether I put it in any kind of thing, like when I mix it with soy sauce, or sometimes, when I go out drinking, I actually just, instead of lemon, I ask for calamansi, and I think just a little dollop of this into something like that would be really good. And I really love, again, the taste of calamansi because it's kind of that place where you can get a lemon, a lime, a little bit of orange, all in one. It has that really good, again, flavor profile that you don't get anywhere else.
Remember, that's for food as well as drinks.
That's right. That's right. So maybe we get a bartender to come in here and make some calamansi types of concoctions utilizing this, and then we can have somebody actually. You and I could be the major taste testers. Yeah,
we got to do it at Manila District. That's exactly what it's for. Like a taste test of some sort, my friend. Yes. Anyway, all right. So what else do you got that you found interesting?
So the other thing too is when you do suka toyo, right? You have the vinegar, but this one has coconut, right? So that's the other thing that I feel like is also, when a lot of these vendors that we do have, when they're ordering a main dish, they obviously have their packets of whether it's soy sauce or hot sauce or something like that. Just think about how this could also be brought into restaurants as well. And I think the packaging itself is really cool as well. It's a smaller bottle. It's thin. It's very you can see the labeling on this, and obviously with the Filipino branded I guess I call this like different designs down here. Something that I think in each one has its own, I think, different distinctive style here. I keep getting messing up, but these are things.
The owner of that, his name is Alan Toison, very much took painstaking, actions to make sure that it looks the way it is. He's a photographer by trade, but he also grew up on calamansi. That's why it's such a big deal for him with everything that you see there. So those are definitely premium, and it's starting to hit the Philan community and the chefs and things like that. So pretty much you haven't actually tasted it yet, but I guarantee you'll love it, and you're gonna agree with them. So let's go ahead and move on to the next product.
So we have some interesting coconut flour from Sakaya here. We have a couple of these types of powders. So I wanted to ask you, a lot of this has to do with, I guess, the mixture of different maybe protein powders and wellness drinks that these can go into, as well as food. Is that right?
Well, what you're holding there is, again, hopefully that when we market the products, these are products that could be used in different forms, but it just has to be told in whether it be spray dried or because sometimes people would want to use it for drinks, and you want to make it for water soluble. So in your hand, what you're holding there are ube, calamansi, moringa, all those different things, and they're all natural, but they're in powder form, whether it be spray dried or freeze dried. Those are the things that we're trying to promote, and the name of those products are the Sakaya brand, or Sinovate. And you I think you're holding cacao nibs as well as mango flour and banana flour.
Yeah, so interesting. We really want to try to take a dive into some of these to try to taste it out and figure out ways to kind of incorporate it into different dishes.
Fantastic. So what other products do you have? Was that the only product that I gave you, right? Was there another?
I have this pure MCT oil.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I'm late on the MCT game again. I guess apparently it's exploding out there as far as the wellness drinks and what it does for you. You could probably tell me a little bit more about it than I can, but something I definitely want to try. It says medium chain triglycerides. So
the beauty of that is something that I think coconut in general has been getting a lot of great publicity. I mean, there's some stuff that I want to say, but I don't think I can say without any proven medical stuff, so I'll refrain from that. But this product it comes in that oil and powder. A lot of people have been using oil or powder in their coffee, like in some protein drinks or meal replacement products, because in essence what it does, it helps with a lot of different, that's why I have to watch with the claims and all that, but let's just say it's healthy and people got to look at it, and this particular product that you have, it actually is the best product that you can get out of a coconut. Okay. And on top of that, there are a lot of people selling MCT oil, but they're putting preservatives in there like maltodextrin. This one is not. If you look at it, I think the product is, in the powder form, it's a different powder. It's Abaca. And that makes a difference in terms of the quality of that product, because something that I've learned through the years is that you could say something is like coconut powder or whatever, but the efficacy, or rather the potency of it, or the quality, may not necessarily be that amazing, because people just say it and you think it's great, it's coconut powder or whatever, but it's the way it's made, and this particular one is the best of the best. So if anybody out there is looking for that, then that's definitely what you're looking for. So again, with everything that you've just basically reviewed, I'm hoping that you get some chance to try it and see for yourself, instead of just me telling you how amazing they are. But again, if you see that the quality and the common denominator of all these products is that they're quality, they have a universal appeal, and it's not just for one culture. But what's so amazing about it being in the US, and you could tell me more about this, is just that, don't you agree that I look at the Filipino community, like I think there's over 4 million in the United States. I look at that community as they're like salespeople, because we're so into the US market that we have friends in different cultures. You know what I mean? We get to introduce that with not just the Filipino community. They're sort of acting like brand ambassadors if you think about it, right?
Yeah, no, of course. And it's funny how everybody has a Filipino friend. And you find folks who already have been over some Filipino household, who knows the flavors, who understands the smells that come out of there when somebody's cooking, or has been part of some party that's had, whether a tita, lolo, some sort of family gathering. We all understand that. So those folks tend to be, early adopters of anything that comes to become Filipino. And a lot of folks, especially those who are not Filipino, tend to gravitate to our culture just by the essence of our people and the relationships we forge. So yes, we all become brand ambassadors because we're super committed to our culture in many ways, shapes, and forms. So
we're just like social animal, meaning what I like. We're not party animals, but I like saying that only because we're all very sociable. That's one of the things about our culture. We are all very sociable in many ways, and we are able to ingratiate ourselves, if you want to use that word, with other cultures, and we tend to be sort of a chameleon in many ways, and that we are able to adapt. And that's what makes us, I guess, subconsciously good salespeople. So that the fact that the products, the culture, the music are being embraced in the U.S. market, I guess if you organize it just right, that's probably one of the biggest key or factors in being able to continue to successfully promote Philippine products. I mean, yeah. I don't know if you agree.
No, I think just what's born out of the Philippines in terms of probably one of the few places on earth that has every major catastrophe and disaster. From fires to earthquakes to floods to typhoons,
volcano eruptions.
We have it, and so I think what's happened is you've kind of built a very strong, resilient people that also sees the brighter things in life, who kind of sees the need to, in spite of all of these tragedies, right? In spite of all of these difficulties, there is a light in every Filipino that just sees the good and wants to see the best in people. And I think that rubs off to a lot of folks when they meet us. And I think when you talk about our products as well, you start thinking about kind of like how these kind of remind you of your Filipino friend, that taste profile, or that, that particular brand that you see and you say, yeah, I remember going to Rowell's house yesterday or back in the day, and I remember smelling the same smell. So yes, we can become that brand ambassador in and of ourselves, because I think from our sense, we've kind of built that type of infrastructure within our community.
I'm just really quick because you touched on something I thought was funny. I got in contact with a junior high friend a long time ago, and he tried to recollect how we first met in our friendship. But the sad part, not sad, I just thought it was funny. He says, hey, man, the first time I saw your house, I went to your house, I smelled something weird, but I was actually drawn to it, and I don't know what it was, but I think he was smelling tuyo at the time.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is not, he's Caucasian. I don't know if that's politically correct to say, but that's the thing. I was the only Filipino in that school, so I brought him to the house, and he smelled this and I go, I never smelled that, but it's sort of intoxicated, he says. I thought that was funny. Anyway.
I never forget some Filipino's house when you actually go there for the first time. So
yeah, no. And I find that funny, but at the same time, it's true. And I think we've come a long way. But with that being said, I just want to remind everyone who's watching this live stream that you guys are watching Planet 63's From Local to Global. This is a special edition of that, where I loved introducing people that have the same mindset, because at the end of the day, this task of promoting Philippine products, culture in the United States market, it's a big undertaking, and you need to collaborate.
A special edition, so I'm obviously.
So go ahead and thank you so much for everyone for watching. But before we completely sign off, what's up for Manila District? What are you guys planning moving forward? From the moment we hang up here or we sign off, what are you guys doing?
Well, there's always something going on here and we're looking forward, obviously, to new vendors. We're getting some new vendors. We get calls all the time. We like to consider ourselves an incubator. So now at this point, so we love it when people graduate through or find some. So with the opening up of COVID, we know that there are going to be some folks who are going to return to Smorgasbord, which we love. We like the fact that we were able to be somewhat helpful to them during this transition, but we're also excited about bringing in some new folks. So if there's people out there looking to try to kind of start up a brand who would like to kind of test it out, this is the place where you pop up. This is your safe place. This is a place where you're not going to break your bank signing a long-term lease on a dream that may not yet be fully formed. So we offer that to folks, and then we also offer the community that is the Manila District and the Field Market, which is an open-air, curated Filipino-led market. So with that, we're looking for brands, we're looking for products, we're looking for collaborations, we're looking for ways to have these folks become better at their game than they were before. So if you've got that idea out there internationally, if the government of the Philippines would like to look at this and work with Ferdinand and myself to kind of continue to promote those products and then export to the United States, let's talk about it, because we're here and we're always looking for ways to work together.
You just hit upon it. That's exactly what I'm hoping that will happen with this collaboration, because at the end of the day, if you think about it, you could have a small product, or something that maybe just needs someone here to represent that product, that you would be that entity that would be able to showcase here right off the gate, whether it be ingredients or some other knickknacks or other arts and crafts, so that they could present in that platform. So and it's one thing to be virtual, okay, but it's also amazing when they can see their products through watching something on social media, that they can see their products actually being exposed to downtown LA, and that's going to be amazing. And I can see a lot more other venues that you could do to be able to do that as we progress into opening up Southern California and beyond. So I mean, with all that being said, James, thank you so much. I do appreciate the time that you took to be here. I know that you're busy. You and I have missed each other in terms of communication, but again, I believe in what your capabilities are, and hopefully you see the value of what I could bring to you in terms of having this collaboration. And I'm hoping that it's not about just the Philippine products, but the idea of collaborating, period, is probably what I want to spread out there in terms of my little sermon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the time. And certainly, I know we've been trying to put this together for a little bit of time. Appreciate your patience with us. There's a lot to be said about, the work that you do. And one of the reasons why we want to be supportive and work with you is because, you're filling a vacuum out there that not a lot of people are doing. And certainly it's work that has to be done, because we have to promote these products. But sometimes, it is a challenge to try to break through the mold with both the folks who want to do this and the folks who are on the receiving end of trying to accept the product into the market. So, appreciating my hats off to you always on that.
No, thank you, James. Thank you. With that being said, again, thank you everyone for watching Planet 63's From Local to Global. And please, if you like the content, you like the show that we're putting it out there, we definitely need your support. This is the collaboration part. Again, go to our YouTube channel or Facebook and look for Planet 63 and just hit subscribe. So this way you can get notified on when the next show will air. And again, it's all about your feedback. So we sort of didn't open up for question and answer. It took longer than we thought we would be, but I'm just glad I was able to get James into the mix and have his perspective on what we're trying to do. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.